Hi, everyone. Welcome to my kitchen. We are in the kitchen with KK. We're back after Hurricane Milton. Super grateful here. Today's October the 14th, and we're in the fall season. But we're going to talk about today is October the 14th happens to be Real Sugar Day. What's real sugar? Well, we're going to go into that. And also, it is National Dessert Day. So, you know that my commitment to you regarding desserts is to get really bold and to recraft dessert recipes so they deliver you the deliciousness you're looking for, that tripping of your dopamine and pleasure center without giving you massive amounts of sugar spikes. So, yes, and just to remind you, my name is Kimberly Knox, and I am a passionate integrative and functional health coach, getting to the root cause of what is ailing you, because the power to heal lies inside your body. I'm a passionate educator, so that's why I put a lot of energy into doing these different YouTubes, whether it be a cooking demo, a recrafting of a recipe, or education and information. So today we're actually going to grab some of the stuff from my 5-day online program that I've rolled out many times for people. It's a 5-day metabolic reset and gentle detox, and it works amazing. But day 2 is all about sugar. And I am an author of this cookbook and the creator of bioenergetic cooking method. Bioenergetics is the study of energy in living things. So living systems, our body is a living system. Food, so we're looking at food and how it provides energy, healing information to the different systems and organs. But in the back of the book, of course, I added a special section, desserts and snacks. So I'm going to refer to different things. Plus, you know, I've done so many dessert recipes, and you can check my channel. I'll put some down below of great alternative cookie recipes and other things where I have cut up the typical refined sugar that's in most of these recipes that we do not need. They do not serve our metabolic process, and cut them down and just deliver. Today, we're going to talk about alternatives. So I have a passion for you to take back the control of your health. Education helps you do that. This is the body we live in. This is the house we live in. And most people have zero education on how it really works. And that was part of the reverence behind my book as well, so that you get to know different systems, what the liver and gallbladder do, what your circulatory system does, and the food that can help you. So sugar. I've got lots of cards here. I'm going to stay kind of organized. I've got lots of, this is the real sugar that I use in my place, in my house, and with different recipes. But sugar is where my clients get into the most trouble with their eating goals. And that is because sugar is highly addictive. And you've got to get your body off of that. And a lot of times that means going cold turkey, but I am going to give you some tips on how to get that down. But you definitely can do it. Your body will thank you, because metabolic syndrome today is over 90%. People cannot switch into fat burning mode. That's what metabolically switching means. We're getting our energy either from sugar and glucose, or we're getting it from our fat and stored energy, stored glycogen in the liver, stored glycogen in the major muscles, and it can be done. If my little body can fast for 72 hours and feel better, anyone can. It's a matter of turning on that system. But this is where people get into trouble because of the addiction. That's because eating anything, eating and drinking, is a coping mechanism. So, and the best cure to that is to actually cook and get back in the kitchen and eat real food. So in times of stress, and during hurricanes, or definitely during COVID, people put on a lot of weight. There was stress eating. The worst thing you can do, because that type of food gives you even more anxiety and lowers your immune system dramatically. You've heard me talk about that. Just 1 teaspoon of sugar will start to lower your immune response and keep it low for 4 hours, exposing you to pathogens. Not good. So these short-term effects we get from sugar, our brain remembers this. It remembers the pleasure. We were trained from a child That's why if you have children, don't start giving them all these sweets and treats. You've got to train their palate to enjoy real food, real fruits and vegetables. And so this mechanism, this turns on dopamine, of course. This is our reward type of neurotransmitter, and we love it. Serotonin, dopamine. We want food that does that. We want to feel good, but there's actions that can also trigger dopamine. I go through that in the day 2 of my program. So what happens though is the more you eat, the more you need to get that pleasure. And that's the same with every addictive substance. And then your body keeps calling upon it. Not only that, and we'll list it as one of your gut microbiome starts to get out of balance, more bad bugs craving quick carbs so that they can live, and there's not enough good bacteria. Again, lowering your immune system as well, and also triggering the gut brain connection in a very not a good way, not a balanced way. So more anxiety, more brain fog, more just mental and cognitive discomfort and decline. And so we need more and more to get the same effect. So what do we have to do? These dopamine receptors, they diminish. Honestly, one of the best things that you can do to reset it is, you'll know, like if you're sick for 2 days and you don't eat, your body doesn't want to eat when you have the flu or you're sick. When you eat again, food tastes amazing because your dopamine receptors get reset after 48 hours. That's why I love doing longer fasts periodically, whether they be a 36 or 48 and an ultimate more immune type of white blood cell. And we have got more than one white blood cell, but strengthening those after 72 hours, very important to do. Let's see if I'm going to say anything else, but we really do want to control that stress eating. Now, here's where it comes in. If you keep saying you're addicted, you're just giving into that. And that means your ego then has to say, I'm addicted, I'm going to eat it, instead of saying, I'm overcoming this and I am slowly getting better. I don't need sugar as much. I am strong. So every little step you take creates the confidence. Also, building value, self-value. How we eat is a direct reflection of how we feel about ourselves. Discounting the the addiction part, you want to have that attitude of, I value myself, I value what I'm eating, and going to more high quality. But I'm going to give you tips to get around that, because we have to have the body start helping us help ourselves. I had an addiction to sugar when I was going through. I lived off glucose probably up until the age of, I don't know, my mid 40s at least. And when I found the green smoothies, and that really shifted me around. A proper green smoothie is a nutrient delivery system, giving your body nutrients that it needs. And the majority of those nutrients also help you kick your sugar craving, shifting your palate, shifting your gut microbiome immediately. So raising your self-value, that is a huge thing. Little affirmations that you can do for yourself. These are all important in stress eating and not giving into the addiction. And then, so we've got, this is going to be called this, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So maybe we'll start with the bad. We'll go to the ugly, and then we'll come back to the good, because the good is where we want to finish. The good is what we want to focus on. You want to get rid of everything that is bad and ugly in your house. Your house has to be a representation. Your pantry, you've seen mine organized. It has to be a representation of the goals that you have for yourself, your body, how you value yourself. And then I'm going to show you some. I mean, my desserts are so easy. They don't take time. You need alternatives that do not destroy your insulin levels. Once you become insulin resistant, you've got big problems. But before you even get there, you're also going to have leptin resistance. Leptin resistance goes hand in hand. You never feel full because leptin says, I'm full. Your hunger hormones get totally turned upside down when you're eating poorly like this. As soon as you start eating good quality meals, no snacking. The snack companies and all the ads, you think that you have to eat, and then somebody told you needed to eat every 2 hours to boost your metabolism. Wrong, and so wrong, and so wrong. All it does is keep stimulating your digestive system and call upon your pancreas to send out more enzymes and insulin, wearing it out, this little 4-ounce organ, which is responsible for the digestion along with liver. So we need to eat a meal, give our body time, eat another meal. And as we age after 50, one of the easiest and best things to do is to either eat breakfast and lunch and a very, very light dinner, maybe just a soup or a smoothie. We do that all backwards here because people are going out to dinner eating so late at night. But even if you eat like a bigger noonday meal, that's when your digestive system really wants the food and it can deal with it. And then as soon as it starts to get dark, your body becomes more naturally insulin resistant. So it doesn't like to have to deal with the food. And sleeping with a full stomach is never going to help you. So let's go to let's save the good. We got lots of good. Okay. Let's go right to the bad. So the bad is the processed crap you got to get rid of. Now, I used to cook with white sugar, processed white sugar, and processed brown sugar because I didn't know any different, honestly. We didn't have alternatives growing up like that. We also did not have ultra high processed, high fructose corn syrup and everything in the grocery store until the late 70s. A very cheap way for food companies to get you addicted to their products. Ketchup, Jif peanut butter. I mean, all the brands that my mother used to buy, they got worse and worse from the 60s to the 70s. The 80s and 90s were the worst time for obesity increases. We're now at about 50%. It's really embarrassing for us here in the United States. And we really have to do something about it. And education on the alternatives is really helpful. You don't want to be stuck with type 2 diabetes. No one used to get it until they were older. Now we have children. So this is really a huge, huge problem. Goes hand in hand also with fatty liver because of fructose, which we're going to get to is only focused on by the liver. So cane sugar and refined brown sugar, ditch them, get rid of them. You don't need them in the house. I make a sugar scrub, although with, it's the only reason I use cane sugar. I make it with salt and some sugar and olive oil and coconut oil. And I make with essential oil. So it's the only reason I have it. Agave. Years ago, we were told that agave was okay. It's basically has the same response as high fructose corn syrup in your body. You don't need agave. It's too refined. Brown rice syrup, any of the rice syrups, corn syrup, of course. Now, I used to make recipes as a kid with corn syrup. It was common in some of these dessert recipes. And of course, even Betty Crocker was designed at that time to deliver recipes in the book that would support the big food companies' recipes. I mean, big food companies' products. So we need to check all the labels. Check the labels. You've got to bring your readers to the store because you cannot see most of the labels. And you will see added sugars everywhere. If cane sugar is one of the top, it's a no-no. I'm sorry. It is a no-no. Way too much added sugar. And then we'll get to the real ugly ones. Those are the artificial sweeteners. But anything glucose, maltose, dextrose, sucrose, fructose, galactose, anything with OSE at the end, those are things you do not want. You got to stick with your real. Table sugar, even white bread and wheat bread, that's going to actually stimulate your insulin and insulin needs very quickly because it boosts up the sugar, and then the pancreas releases the insulin to try to get that glucose into the cell. Makes it even doubly worse when the cell is inflamed from some of these toxic items and toxic seed oils, white rice, soda, juice, candy, breakfast cereals. Oh, come on, guys. Breakfast cereals deliver zero nutrients. It is a sloppy way to try to eat breakfast. And there's many other things you can do. And all conventional desserts, every single bakery you see out there. So does it look like it's exciting? Okay, I agree. It does look exciting, but you got to do the alternatives if you care about your body feeling good, feeling energized, and you want to be that way for a while. So that's the bad. All right. So the ugly, we're going to get into artificial sweeteners. Now, these came on board. My grandmother used to drink Tab. My grandmother was a diabetic. She used to drink Tab that she tasted so terrible. And then, of course, diet sodas. I lived on diet sodas when I was in college. And and so anything that says zero reduced sugar now has artificial sweeteners in there. This is where we're running into problems. And now gastrointestinal disease, number one, we've got meters of intestinal tract. The digestive system starts here and in the mouth. And that's why when I'm serving a dinner to people, I talk about it first, because the proper enzymes in the mouth are not delivered, and the message for the body to create more hydrochloric acid to break down proteins is not delivered until we're ready to eat. And most people are so stressed, they're not ready. They start shoving food down, not chewing it. So you see the problems here that we're getting into? Artificial sweetener started causing even more problems. And then hybridizing our wheat started causing more problems, because the wheat of today is not the wheat of 100 years ago. And this wheat is causing there's not just one protein with the related gluten. There's more wheat proteins that cause so much gut damage. So here, reduced sugar has led to numerous health risks. So these are the research that's done around them, and I can tell you it's true, but associated with soaring obesity rates. They're not working, and that's because these artificial sweeteners are triggering the cells to not be receptive to insulin. They're called obesogens. They get in the way of your metabolism working properly, higher risk of cardiovascular disease, and also related to an 18% increase in stroke risk. So you're not doing yourself a favor. What you have to do is bring down that palate. I'm going to give you ways to do that. But aspartame right now is one of the very worst. Aspartame and sucralose are the most common that are stuffed in all this food. 90% of the grocery store cannot be eaten. And at least when you go to Whole Foods, and I can't eat with some of the stuff in there as well, they've reduced by 1,000 different ingredients that they won't allow. So you've got to be vigilant at what you're allowing into your body. These obesogens are increasing your cravings, increasing cardiovascular disease and stroke risk, and also digestive discomfort. So some of these are called, the saccharin, aspartame, sucralose, and I don't even remember which is the blue packets, the yellow, the pink. Don't use any of them, please. Get rid of them all. If you need a little tiny sweetener, we're going to get to that. But they're not effective. They're connected to weight gain and obesity all around. They're not doing the job. They interfere with your cellular response to insulin. Okay. They increase fat. They interfere with the metabolism and the metabolic function of the body. They're contributing to the metabolic problem that we have, and that affects 90% of America today. It can be overcome, and I do work with people on it. So what else here? All right, so stevia and monk fruit. First of all, I never bake with any crappy artificial sweeteners that are not over here. All right, stevia, for me, tastes horrendous. But if you're going to use stevia or monk fruit, you got to start cutting it down, because monk fruit is 180 to 20,000 times sweeter than sugar. Where do you think this problem is? The problem lies in our palate. Of course, a beautiful green salad is not going to taste as exciting if your palate is being stimulated artificially by things that are more sweet than regular sugar. It used to be hundreds of years ago that blueberries were fine, right? Berries were sweet enough for us. Not anymore. So, it increases our preference for sweet foods. So I do not recommend these for my clients. And a monk fruit, you have to, again, get out your readers. On monk fruit labels, you're going to see them cut with erythritol. That is a sugar alcohol. It is not good for your body. It is associated with blood clots, definite digestive distress, allergic reactions, the whole gamut. You don't need that. Your mucosal layer of your stomach, your intestines, it's very small, but it's so important to your overall health. You need that. So it is the main source in beverages, sweetened beverages. People spend so much money on sweetened beverages and stuff. Water is what we need, but a lot of people complain, I can't drink the water. I don't like the way it tastes. Well, you got to get used to just drinking real water and squeeze a little lemon or a little lime in it, something that's real. So those are the uglies, and they have to go. Now, let's go to the good. Before we get to the good, let me tap into when I do my online program. I give the participants 12 ways that they can help to control and kick their sugar cravings to the curb. And these are really big. You got to get a daily green. The daily green drink, like a smoothie, allows you to get way more greens than you get in a salad. But at least you have to have a big salad, or you have to have the greens. Those greens are the lifeblood. Green is the color of energy, the chlorophyll for your blood, for your liver. It's going to have magnesium. It's going to have vitamin K2. These vitamin K. You're going to want these nutrients and minerals, but it's also going to help to shift your gut microbiome because it starts to feed the good gut bacteria. So that's important. Healthy fats. You need to increase the fats. Fats help you to stay satiated longer. Avocado is a brilliant fruit. It is a fruit. It's got a seed in the center. With protein, it helps you build glutathione, which is your master antioxidant. It is a superfood fat that will make you feel satiated. Start adding that on top of things to help you feel satiated. That's what fat does. Fat also doesn't spike insulin. So that's important. More healthy fats. And getting more fiber. You've seen me dissect a recipe where, a label that has total carbs. Net carbs is total carbs minus fiber. So fiber is going to also help you feel full longer, helps keep food in your body longer so that it's feeding the microbiome as well. And it's making you feel full. It's helping to also attract toxins that are trying to get out of your body. Quality proteins. So not just animal proteins, because animal products are acidic, but quality proteins, beans, legumes, nuts, even the greens are going to have protein. Pumpkin seeds are a powerful alkaline type of protein. Just a quarter cup's got 10 grams, many different ways to get protein. Meat takes a while to break down. So make sure if you're going to have animal protein that it is clean sources, not fish with loads of mercury, and not conventional meat that have been shoved full of antibiotics and hormones. That's why we need the good quality there. Marinate the meat a little, make it easier to digest. Pastured eggs as well. Having some hard-boiled eggs are helpful for people in that respect. Eliminate that refined sugar. So you want to switch to natural sources. So let's go to some natural sources. That's part of the good sugars. Good sugars are real. They're real food. They haven't been processed. I'm having some of my ginger tea, which I love, fresh brewed ginger tea. So the good sugars, they occur naturally in food. Okay, they're either minimally or not processed at all. So fruits and vegetables. when I tell my clients about nature's carbs, that's the great for a carb cycling day. Here's a couple examples. This is a kabocha squash. You've seen me make that. It's in a video. These are sweet potatoes. I make a delicious purple and garnet sweet potato dish with black beans and cilantro. That is filling and it's amazing and it's satisfying for the body. It's a great carb cycling day. What I mean is keep your carbs on the lower end so that you are able to to tap into your fat burning, but also you got to give your body those antioxidants that are in there. Beta carotene is one that's often found, obviously, in the squashes. So they're also loaded with antioxidants. They're loaded with fiber. This is real food here. So the fruits, the berries, you'll see that berries, where's mine? And papaya. I've got apples over here too, but raspberries are actually the lowest sugar berry. They help you sleep better at night. But fantastic here. So raspberries, very, very satisfying. They go extremely well on my recipe in the book that a lot of my sugar addicts love. And I'll go through these, but this is a hug in a jar. This is a chocolate avocado mousse. It's made with good fats, avocado and coconut cream. It's made with real chocolate cacao, cinnamon. What else? Very simple to make. You don't have to be a genius to make this. And it tastes amazing. You know, I make a frosting out of it, but raspberries are great to put on top of it as a dessert. And papaya is also medium sugar, but it also is anti-inflammatory. It's got really great anti-inflammatory papain in there. And it is wonderful. I utilize it on a topping for I turn my pumpkin energy bar into an actual frosting. So I put it in between the layers of the cake that I make out of it. And often I do that. So what else? Sweet potatoes, yams, purple potatoes, all the squashes, carrots, and peas. Another alternative would be aged balsamic, because balsamic, you can drizzle a little bit of that. That's going to satisfy. I like a pomegranate, a little drizzle that will satisfy your little reward center without giving you a big spike. Also, the sweet nuts as an alternatives are pecans and macadamia nuts. Now you're getting good fats, but they're the sweetest nuts. I use those in my cooking as well. In fact, in the recipe that you just saw for the apple brown Betty, I ground up pecans in there instead of using a whole huge amount of brown sugar or white sugar, grinding up pecans with some of the coconut sugar and flaxseed. So there's so many ways to get around this. So let's look at some of these. One of my favorites to use is coconut sugar. It is much lower glycemic index than refined sugar. The glycemic index is how your body responds to it, how it metabolizes it. So there's a decreased impact on your sugar spikes. So, but all of these natural sugar sources are going to have vitamins and minerals in there, as well as some of them are going to have good amounts of antioxidants. But I use the raw organic coconut sugar most often, and I also reduce the quantity. So I don't do it 1 for 1. You can reduce the sugar and not mess up a recipe. You'll be and you can check I do it to all of mine, and you can as well. The next one is maple syrup. I'm from Vermont. I've made this on my stove in our house, but here it is actually low in fructose. So you can have sucrose, glucose, and fructose. And fructose can only be processed by the liver. So if you do have any fatty liver issues, you have to watch the amount of fructose delivering sweets that you're getting. But this is from the sap of a maple tree. It's 2 to 3 times sweeter than sugar. You don't need as much. It's going to be moist in a recipe as well. So, but you're getting those magnesium, zinc, calcium, manganese, also iron, but lots of antioxidants, like 24 different antioxidants in some of these. And maple syrup is one of them. Now, medjool dates, I'll come back to that because they're in the refrigerator. And so blackstrap molasses. So blackstrap molasses, I've always had this since I was a child, and it is unsulfured. And I do use it occasionally, not a lot, but it's great for the fall. You can add a little bit to a porridge, to a chia pudding, things like that. I even put a little into my coffee. It's going to have a good amount of iron, 20% of your daily value. So I always knew that growing up. I thought it was pretty fascinating. And here, but it is a more nutritious byproduct of sugarcane. Here it's going to have minerals, vitamin B6 as well. So molasses is something you can keep in your cabinet. Now, raw honey and buckwheat honey. I use buckwheat honey way more, and that's because it's got 7 times more antioxidants than regular clover honey or raw honey. Buckwheat honey is similar to manuka honey in its antioxidant capacity, yet when you buy it here locally, and this is from Winter Park here in Florida, you're getting your local bees as well, but it's also much less expensive than trying to invest in manuka honey, which does have very high antioxidant values coming from Australia, New Zealand area. But here it also has antibacterial and antiviral properties. So honey is something you don't heat. You don't heat it up in a recipe, you add it in after. And so the buckwheat honey is even in my immune boosting tonic called Fire in the Hole, which you can see on my website in the Kitchen with KK. If you want to see what I put in that cold brew, you can put all those ingredients and make it yourself at home. It is a flu tonic. So, but the vitamins and minerals that you have in all of these allow the body to recognize this as a different kind of a sweet. So let's just put this on hold for a second. So organic medjool dates. I really love these. I use them in certain recipes where you need stuff to stick together. But medjool dates, similar to the other real, like the buckwheat honey and the maple syrup and the coconut sugar, it's going to have real nutrients in there. So medjool dates are my favorite over the other smaller ones, but it takes 7 years for a coconut palm to actually start producing these dates. They really consider this a labor of love. It's labor intensive, but there are no chemicals added to these during the process. So when you look at the price, it's because they're gold in the sugar world and making different desserts. They're in my chocolate avocado mousse. They're in all of my energy balls. And what else would I put them in? You can sweeten up your own golden milk or chai latte with them as well. So they're very nutrient dense with the minerals, potassium, copper, manganese, vitamin B6, niacin, calcium, iron. So you see, real sources of sugar have nutrients. The body recognizes all this stuff and it loves it. So here, anytime that you don't have a sugar spike, it's going to give you more sustained energy. And that's what we're always looking for. Fats, fiber, protein, and real sugars that don't spike your need for insulin or your glucose. So that's great. Now for kids, what you can do with these are pitted medjool dates. You can open them up and fill them with peanut butter. They're going to go crazy because they're amazing. Just train your kids on alternate treats. The little chocolate avocado mousse, I make it as a frosting for my double chocolate zucchini brownies that I turn into a cake or to a cupcake. So what is in here is we also use bananas as a natural sweetener. And my fall recipe for pumpkin energy bars, I use a mixture of cinnamon organic cinnamon applesauce, unsweetened, and bananas. In my blueberry muffins in the book, I'm using organic sweet potato puree. You're getting beta carotene, you're getting natural sweetness. Just fantastic. My $1 million chocolate chip cookies, I use at least a cup less sugar in these. Plus, instead of white flour, I use almond flour, which has a net carbs of about 2. So the carb load is so low, you can enjoy this. And I would never use the Nestle chocolate chips that I used to use. I use the Pasha brand, much cleaner. And I often use 100% raw cacao chips because that pop of real chocolate is what stimulates dopamine and serotonin, but you got plenty of sweet around it so that you're getting used to that rich, bitter, real chocolate. It's like having eating dark chocolate with a raisin. You can do that. But a lot of those chocolate bars you're going to be tempted to eat the whole thing. Plus, it's got lecithins and thickeners in there, plus cane sugar added, which you do not want. So here's my Tropical Delight energy balls, and my chocolate cherry chia vitality balls. So the vitality comes from the chia, the flax, the nuts and the seeds, the good fats that keep your blood sugar stable, but just enough dates, sweets, and coconut oil in there too to add the sweetness that you need. Anything else that I want to mention? Yeah, those are my blueberry blizzard breakfast bars, muffins, but you can make those into a bar. I've made them into a cake. And so I make all of my bars and muffins into other things. But that is, let me just see if there's any more tips on here I want to tell you about. So that is about switching to natural sugars. This will really, really help you get them out of the house and keep all the refined stuff out of the house. At least if you don't have it here, you're not going to be tempted to get it. You've got to train your body and your palate for natural sweetness. Getting rid of those things really help. But, you know, cinnamon and nutmeg and cardamom, those natural sweetnesses, and also the nuts and the carrots and the yams and the sweet, and actually this squash I love, kabocha. And I have a recipe that I did a ways back. This is so naturally sweet, you don't need anything. It's amazing. So what else to help you? Getting those probiotics in there so that you're feeding them, growing more good bacteria. Checking your mineral levels. A low magnesium is so common. 75% of people are low in magnesium. Your green smoothie is going to help you. You're going to need to get it in there. Magnesium glycinate, magnesium citrate, those are easier to digest. Glycinate is more for anxiety. Citrate goes right in. You can get it in the calm. It helps you sleep at night. But you might need to take it 3 times a day to keep it up there. It also helps with acid reflux, keeping that muscle relaxed and keeping the stress down. We're losing lots of magnesium. And the last one that we'll move into is easy daily fasting. I live a fasting type of lifestyle. I don't do it the same every day. I vary it. I've gotten my insulin back to being sensitive. I've healed gut issues by fasting for at least 24 hours or 36. And I don't have to diet, but a fasting lifestyle will help bring that insulin down. You got to have it down long enough so that the body switch into fat burning, but also you become more insulin sensitive. And if you do want to get into longer fasts, you will start to make your dopamine receptors more sensitive to these pleasurable foods. I think that's it. Molasses, we did molasses. Yep. Raw honey, buckwheat honey. So fruits that are low in sugar, I'm just going to give you some that are easy to go to, but limes and lemons. Now, lemons, first thing in the morning, you want to do lemon. And in the winter, to warm you up, get some cayenne pepper in there, or even in the summer when it's humid. This is very good, but lemons don't break your fast, and they're going to create an alkaline environment in your body. But raspberries and cranberries. Raspberries are delicious, but they're very low in sugar. And cranberries, so blackberries, strawberries, papaya, nectarine, peaches, oranges, watermelon. We're going up as we go here. Grapefruit, kiwi. apricots, blueberries are actually a little bit higher than some of the other berries. And you want to make sure you're doing wild blueberries. It's always good to have frozen ones in there. I had a client that really cured her sugar addiction using frozen wild blueberries, goji berries, and raw cacao nibs. She loved it. It got her offered chocolate covered graham crackers. All right, plums, cantaloupe, pineapple. So pineapple is sweet, yes, but it's loaded with great enzymes that help you break down proteins. And your digestive system needs to work at all levels. Things are being broken down. In the stomach, it's where your hydrochloric acid needs to be very, very high to break down protein, meat. Okay, and then once it gets into your small intestine, things shift and the enzymes come in to help you break it down. Starts in your mouth, apples. So a little bit higher will be bananas, but obviously, you know, a green banana and a just barely yellow banana are a lot less on the sugar load than if they're in the dark range. So you want to freeze them when they're not so brown. Pears, cherries, grapes are actually pretty high. So if you do have any sugar issues, you don't want to be grazing on grapes. Mangoes, pomegranate, figs and dates are higher, but because of the nutrients and the fiber, it actually works. You just don't want to eat a whole plat of them there. So that's it for National Sugar Day and National Dessert Day. I'll put some links in down below of different recipes, but I hope you inspired you to get rid of the crap in your pantry. It's a great time to do it. The fall is a great time to go through your closets and to go through your pantry, the fall and the spring. It's a time of natural cleansing for the body as well. And then I hope I've inspired you to, through the other recipes that I've done, to get creative and bold. Change the recipes yourself. And I know that I have lots of them in my channel because I've always loved baking desserts, starting when I was young. So thanks for tuning in to me today in the Kitchen with KK. This is more of an educational video here. But as always, I'm trying to inspire you. There's always alternatives. It's delicious, never deprived. So thanks for tuning in today. And if you made it all the way to the end, I'd be super happy if you would share the video. If you're not already subscribed, love for you to subscribe and give me a nice thumbs up. It's happy times for your feedback. If you have questions, always write them below. I'm happy to answer. Bye, everyone.